Good afternoon. Today we will be talking a little bit about antibiotics, the way it works, the way it has influenced the medical world, pharmaceutical world. So who here as pharmacy technicians, pharmacists, we love where we work, right? Yes.
That's why we're here.
We're in the air conditioner area, we're in the hospital, we learn every day, we see different things, and we influence the way patients see pharmacy. Today we will be talking about the overuse and large quantity of antibiotics that are being used right now in the hospitals, in medicine, in surgeries, and things like that. Today we will talk about the timeline of how the antibiotic resistance came about. Pretty much, it started from the Dark Ages. Semmelweis advocated that the best way to prevent infection is by washing your hands. That was in 1940. And as time went by in 1929, Sir Alexander Fleming discovered penicillin, the first major antibiotic discovery, and again, it was accidentally discovered actually. Over the years, we came across antibiotic medications, but the resistance to bacteria won against antibiotics. And as you can see over that time span, different types of antibiotic classes came about, but as they came about, the resistance also came. And when I was looking at the percentage of, or the amount of time it took the antibiotic to become resistant, it was about 5 to 10 years average after it was put in the market. So as you can see, there was an increase of antibiotic resistance between 1960 to now. And over that time, also in the 1980s, the first initial medications for the antiretrovirals were introduced. The uprise of superbugs also have been increasing over the time. With that also comes a lot of people that are dying because of these superbugs. They are becoming resistant to colistin. It's a antibiotic that was used back then in the day, 20, 30 years ago, and we're actually seeing this medication being used in hospitals. And we're, in 2016, and we're using a medication that was put in the market 20, 30 years ago. According to the CDC, about roughly 2 million people had illnesses, and about 23,000 people died because of antibiotic resistance. The CDC is actually taking a very hard look on doctors because they are overprescribing patients, attacking medications where it should not be getting attacked. They want the infection to go away 1, 2, 3, but that's not how it works. It takes time, and because of that, the outcome of it is we're living in 2016 and we have not had a new antibacterial class for almost 20 years. With this, you can see the chart. You can see how the number of antibiotics that were put out every year, and of course it has disseminated to 1 or 2, also because of the FDA trial and errors. It takes a long time to put out a medication out there to the market. And here you can see how the CDC has implemented these four ways to prevent the spread of antibiotics. Bacteria. You can prevent it by washing your hands, making sure you wash. You clean your food like meats, shrimp, things like that. Make sure you're up to date with your immunization records. Also tracking, making sure that you know what medications are out there, what are the side effects to them, mostly with antibiotics. And again, with the doctors, also this goes for the doctors prescribing medications, antibiotics to the patients, and again, developing new drugs and running tests for them. And in the middle, you can see the last class that was put out to the consumer market. It was a lipopeptide. antibiotics in 1987, and that was the last one that we've had. And on the far right, you can see the antibiotic introduced. Like for example, the first one, 1943, penicillin was introduced, but in 1965, it actually the resistance was there, so a lot of people could not use it anymore. And again, over the time, resistance for almost every antibiotic that was put out there. Here's an example of the inventor who, or the doctor who actually made penicillin. He put out an example of how people come to resisting medications. Like for example, Mr. X had a sore throat. Just to summarize it, he had a sore throat. Let's just say, for example, the doctor prescribed him an underdose or an overdose, so he could quickly get rid of it. But in reality, he still had it. He passed it on to the missus. Then he infects the wife, and now because of the wife she's infected, she gets penicillin, but once she comes into contact with penicillin, it does nothing to her. So because of that, she ends up dying. And just basically not only the use of penicillin is not enough, but antibiotics overall, we should be able to just take it easy and take it slow, because at the end of the day, what we're trying to do is prevent a superbug. And an epidemic like the Black Plague, and a couple years ago, swine flu, things like that, where everybody's distressing about where's the antibiotic, where's the medication, when in reality, we become resistant to that. Sir Alexander Fleming, he actually got a Nobel Peace Prize for the invention for penicillin, for bringing that up in modern medicine. He said there is the danger that the ignorant man may easily underdose himself, and by exposing his microbes to non-lethal quantities of the drug, make them resistant. So pretty much we just have to be educated, ask, and be prepared, because it is your life at risk. 20 years from now, we could be in a epidemic, where literally childbirth will be lethal. A minor cut will be lethal, because we do not have the sources anymore to find the next antibiotic, the next treatment. So let's just be aware, and let's ask questions too. Don't be ignorant in that sense where, I can't ask the doctor because he's the one who knows. Ask. You don't know what may happen. A lot of doctors just overpass your lab test, just be like, okay, here you go, just take this. Ask, because that's the best way to not build up this resistance to antibiotics. Thank you.